First off, congratulations on the gold medal last night, Kyle Snyder. What's it like to coach history, man? That guy's incredible.
Well, he doesn't appear to be 19, does he? He's so mature for his age, but he's such a good student of the sport, and he listens, and he learns, and he can filter out the good and the bad, but he's tenacious. He works hard. He's on a mission every time he gets on the mat, every day at practice. Everything he does is geared towards one thing, and he pulled it out.
Since he did make history, who does he remind you of the years that you've been part of this?
Well, we had a lot of guys that really came back through that thing. You're going to see some information on Kerry Colad at a young age that got onto the stage, and Les Gutchess at a young age who got onto the stage. So history, we've had some guys that really did step up and perform at a relatively young age. And but every one of those guys have some specific skill sets that God gave them, and their parents were good to them, right? And they took advantage of them and trained them, but every one of them were on a mission. I'll never forget how driven all those guys were. The Sammy Hensons, the Les Gutches, the Lincoln McElravies, the Terry Brands, the Tom Brands, at such a young age, winning right out of college.
So what are Kyle's God-given talents that you see?
He is so strong. He is so strong, and he works hard at it, right? And so with that physical gift, he has really good balance, and but his will to win is unbelievable. He believes in it, and he trains to make it so. It's like, really fun to watch.
Like youth is a big part of this tournament. I mean, not just Kyle. There's a lot of young guys doing here, and USA also is doing really well, getting guys, you know, exposed to freestyle younger.
No question about it. Just look at our cadet world team, how well they did on the world level. Look at our junior team the last few years, the Valencias, the Spencer Lees, the Mark Halls, the Joy McKennas, Aaron Pico. I mean, if they continue to work at the pace they're working on, then this country's going to be back to where it was in the early 90s. And that's our goal. That's my goal.
Should they forego going to college?
In my opinion, no. But we only have one person that's really done that, and we'll see how that turns out, right? I mean, Aaron Pico's the only one I know that actually went directly into the freestyle and from that point. But I value education. I value the collegiate system. That's our, so for me, I have to wait and see to see if it really produces like it could. But let me tell you something. Aaron Pico is a quality kid, and he's driven to do something. And my advice to him when that came around, and I was just getting back into this, was don't look back. This is the path you've chosen. You know where you want to go. So don't look back and ever second guess it, because you got to move forward and try to reach the goals that you set before yourself.
Did Kyle really ask you to wrestle in the junior worlds?
Yes, he did. Well, not just him. I had a coach or two say, hey, can we take him to the junior worlds? And I said, no. It's a different place. I mean, what if he got hurt? What if? There's so many what ifs, but our training camps are put together for specific reasons, and that's to prepare for the seniors, specific positions that we're not really good in, and some of our guys didn't get better in them. You go back to last year's World Championships and see how some of our guys lost that were there, and the same things happened here. I mean, this is not rocket science sometimes, right? You get in this position so many times and you finish it or you don't finish it. And if the other person's scoring in this position, you either get better with it or you get out of it. And so we've got to get better in some of the positions. And look, I try to tell people it's never about their heart. They fight to the very end, but they have to get better technically and smarter and get better in some of the positions.
Do you think this is an improvement over last year?
Yes, I do.
We're taking steps, not just, medals and wins, but technique-wise as well.
Look, this is the legacy of USA Wrestling and our freestyle program. And that's why it's important for us to have the cadet world team in our senior camp, and our junior world team in our senior camp, and our seniors mentoring those young guys and the skill sets. You should come to our training camp and watch those kids interact with our senior guys. You will never find a better ambassador than Jordan Burroughs in talking to those young kids about
Bruce,
what they have to do.
Unless you've signed an extension, this is next year will be your last year. Can you put that in perspective, and where does USA Wrestling go from there?
Yes. First of all, in 2 years, it's hard to really. You're not going to come in and change people that have been doing this for a long time, but you have to start the process. And everybody wants results. I'm one of them. I want results. But the process will take care of the results. But they have to believe it. They have to believe it. And if they believe it, and they work, and they do what a Kyle Snyder does and listens and continues to get better, then we're going to be back 1, 2, or 3 every year. It's going to be a battle, and I believe that's going to happen. I believe it 100%. And so, yeah, I'm going to step out of it. But whoever comes back in, they will have a good group and a good foundation that will continue to keep it moving forward. And look, God's given me a lot of opportunities in this sport. Coaching the kids club, coaching at the high school level, coaching at Oklahoma State University, where we had won the NCAAs, won high school state titles, you know, been blessed to coach these great athletes for the U.S. and be Olympic coach and world team coach. And when I retired, I actually asked my wife, if anybody here saw the movie Chariots of Fire, where he talked about running fast, and I think it was his sister asking why he did it, and he said, well, God made me fast, and if I don't run, I feel like I'm holding God in contempt. And so when this opportunity came back around for me, I was like, wow, I've been given all this knowledge, all this opportunity. Give it back. Give it back.
Maybe God will say 4 more years after next surgery.
You know what? Neck surgery, 2 hip replacements, steroid shots in my lower back, 3 knee surgeries. This is not a sport for guys like this.
Should a replacement then be named before 2016?
Yes, beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Are you in on that selection?
I don't know. I don't know that part of it. What I will tell you is, first of all, what I asked them to do was for me to mentor somebody, get them hired now, and let me work with them. But clearly, it's hard to believe the difference in a World Championships or the Olympic Games. Make no mistakes, everybody trains 4 years. You're going to see, that's why some of these young kids are in this tournament right now, because they're going to have them at the Games next year. And they're looking 4 years down the road for those guys to be in the Games. Everybody gears for the Olympic Games. And when I was first national coach, I didn't understand that till I got to my first Olympic Games and said, wow, these guys are all better. They're all better. They're already good, you can see that. My wife's a tennis fan, but she looked at this and said, wow, that looks a lot different than our National Open. And it does.
Should this event be ruled a success, even how many medals you get?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's still the process. And it's still about competing against the very best. Look how many people are in the stands right now. Is that not good for USA Wrestling? And the young kids that are seeing that and watching Jordan Burroughs and a Kyle Snyder win and feel so proud of that. Success.
If and when Jordan wins tonight, he mentioned in the press conference, he enters in to some pretty rare company with Bruce Baumgartner potentially and John Smith. What is that? I mean, compared to this guy, you've been on the coaching staff for a long time compared to some guys you coach.
I was blessed to coach John at Oklahoma State and work with him on the senior level. and in the coaching ranks. And we have some quality guys, and obviously Jordan Burroughs is as good as it gets. We don't know what his legacy is going to be, but it's already pretty good, isn't it? And I believe he'll continue to make it so as long as he's good and healthy, right? But no, he's really good. Look, I'm going to tell you something right now. Kyle Dick and David Taylor are really good. Really good. But right now, Jordan Burroughs is a little bit better. And so we're getting better. We're getting better. Our depth is getting better. And their skill level is getting better in the positions that we have to get better in. So I feel good about the progress, but we have 11 months to really fix it. I mean, we don't have enough medals. Count them in the last 10 years. How many medalists do we have? 4? 6? Yeah, not very many. It's not enough. We need guys contending for a medal at every weight class, to where if we don't win a medal, we're disappointed. I'm going to give you a little bit of history. When Lincoln McElravy and Terry Brands lost in the semis at the Olympic Games in 2000, I had to talk them into wrestling back. I had to talk them into it because they wanted to go. Now, it scared me, but a little bit of time and saying, hey, this is not about you now. Think of the United States. Think of the red, white, and blue. Who are you wrestling for now? You didn't get what you want. And that's the same with every one of these guys. When your opportunity comes around and you don't get the gold, well, it's not just about you. It's about red, white, and blue. All the little wrestlers watching you compete. And so they got it, and they both came back and won a bronze medal in 2000. And that's not an easy thing to do when all you want is gold, when all you see is gold. And so, what a sport. What a sport. So what they do, and as hard as they train, wow. I mean, I'm in awe of them, and I'm honored to be able to even work with them, you know? But I hope someone will listen more.
Going back to Mike's question about the college or no college debate, what do you think guys get out of that, going to college, that they would miss out on if they were?
Well, okay, our best coaches are in the college ring. Let me rephrase that. I'm not going to necessarily say that's true, but our best coaches are high school coaches who take them from here, right? Where do their skills come from? Then they go into a collegiate system, and if you've all followed our collegiate system, you know the skill sets of different programs, right? And so if the right athlete fits into that program, and they're going to get better for what their skill sets are and what they do. And so it's okay to have your average age of a freestyle world and Olympic team 29 years old. It's okay. Now, I preferably like a 23-year-old to a 29-year-old, so you have that mix of maturity and guys that are coming up. But clearly, our best coaches can prepare them, but you got to remember this: their job is to coach a collegiate athlete. So 70% of the time, you've got to believe that that's where their time's being spent, wouldn't you? I mean, if you're an athletic director and you're going to pay them to perform on the collegiate level, and so that's where the national program has to pick up that slack. And the athletes have to understand that, because this is what we know. I can tell you right now, if you ask these elite athletes what they need to become the very best, they're going to say, I need good training partners. Not 2 or 3 collegiate guys that they can flapjack. They need good competition, as good as they are or better. And I ask them, well, is that 1 guy? Is that 2 guys? Is that 3 guys? Is 3 guys better than 1 guy? Yes, it is. Get 3 good workout partners that only train freestyle. And they need to test themselves every 6 or 7 weeks. They need to get out of that room and go test themselves. They need the competitions. Again, not rocket science. Find out how many matches these world champions wrestled this year. Find out how many competitions they were in. And statistically, you're going to find out just what that is. Now, does a Tervel and a Burroughs have to wrestle as many matches? No, because they've been in so many international competitions, but they better wrestle enough. They better wrestle enough. And so you know they have to get the competition, they have to have the training partners, they have to have coaches that have eyes on freestyle 24/7, so that we can tell them this is what the Belarusians are doing, and this is what the Russians are doing, and this is what Iran's doing, and you better be good in these positions. And I'm going to tell you, if you can't defend an underhook against Iran, you're in trouble. From 57 kilo all the way up to 125. And so it's a process. And look, is sports science important? I mean, why do you have strength coaches? I mean, I wrestled and I lifted weights, but I'm not a strength coach. Nutritionists, sports psychologists, sports physiologists. Where do you find all that? The Olympic Training Center. When you go in a battle, you want as many weapons as you can have, and so you want to use all those, but you have to get out, away from your comfort zone. Get out of your house. You got to make those sacrifices to get better. And the last thing, guys, honestly, the 2-minute matches for 8 years hurt us immensely because you didn't have to be as good. Can you imagine holding somebody off for 2 minutes, having an opportunity to reach in a bag and pull something out that says, I get your leg? I mean, so we didn't have to be as good in parterre. We didn't have to be as good in parterre defense, parterre offense. We didn't have to shoot as much. In 2 minutes, what are you going to have? 2 30-second attacks, one by him, one by you? And I've been a wrestling coach for years and years and years, and I knew the rules, but I didn't study it until I came back. Go back and watch it. Holy cow. 2 moves a match. 2 moves in 2 minutes. They forgot to wrestle. Now it's 6 minutes. You better keep wrestling. You better keep wrestling.
Back to Andy's question, though, I want to make sure we're hearing you right. Are you saying that college rooms provide a good workout experience because there's competition there, but that also needs what the OTC combines? So you're saying it's a blend of the two, ideally?
Has to be. Not a little bit. It literally has to be. It has to be. It has to be a combination of the two. And make no mistakes. My job is to build a relationship with all the personal coaches. You see the personal coaches here, right? Yeah. I mean, it's not about me sitting in a corner. That's about me taking notes. So the next time we come around, I can say, this is what you did right, this is what you did wrong. And I can go to the personal coaches and do the same thing. Say, hey, look at the number of times they were in this position. Look at the number of times they won the position. Look at the number of times they lost the position. Look at how many times your opponent scored in that position. Let's work on this position. So here's 4 or 5 things you can do there. If you don't know, I'll show you and go teach it to them. But in 6 or 7 weeks, you need to be out so we see it's getting fixed. It's getting fixed. Yeah, so, yeah. Our personal coaches are great. And, you know, they talk about regional training centers. That's what a collegiate program is. It's a regional training center for our guys. Right? Okay.
Thanks, Bruce.
Good luck tonight, Coach.
Yeah, thanks.